I'm making this another video because for some reason the activity of talking helps my stomach, and when I'm just sitting here or if I'm like trying to consume content, it gets worse. I'm just laying here just feeling like I'm going to throw up again, even though I already threw up and I already had so much bowel movement. It's like, what's going on? I don't understand. And none of the doctors understand either. But it's just like this middle part of my abdomen here is just like constantly in this like cramping state from, yeah, today it was 1:59 when I first got up and looked at the clock. Every day, man. How do you live like that? How am I supposed to support myself with this? Uh, Sometimes I fantasize about getting, you know, just evaporating in some kind of a explosion, whether it's some kind of a big meteor or World War III or something. It's pretty callous and awful to wish that upon oneself or anyone, but I won't lie in telling you that I've noticed my fear of death disappear over the past several years slowly, and now whenever I hear about what would you call that? Blah 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 blah. I can't find the word. Potential. That's not the word, but now whenever I hear about hypothetical ways to die, I often just feel relaxed and think like, oh, that sounds nice. I'm not suicidal, but I don't talk about it because I have so many other problems, but I also have really bad back pain. My lower back feels like somebody extracted all the muscles, and the vertebra back there are just constantly having all of my torso's weight on them, and it's feels like they're just gonna break. So I have to keep this pillow in the small of my back, and that's even not really doing it. It's helping, but it's only can do so much. For some reason, it just really hurts. I think it's because I have to sleep in an incline. But if I sleep flat, I wake up horribly sick, like after just a couple hours of sleeping. So I just can't do that. Can't you understand why somebody with my body would fantasize about not existing? I have a lot to be grateful for. I mean, I can walk. I can use both of my hands. That wasn't always true. For a while, I had a meltdown, and it looked like I severed my 3 fingers. They were like hanging back like this because I broke a glass jar in my hand, and couldn't use my hand for a while. I was using my left hand for everything, and it was okay. I sort of got used to it, but it feels a lot better to have the dominant hand, and so now I can even appreciate not being able to walk, because I had a meltdown about 2 months ago where I stomped my foot so hard, my right foot, that I couldn't put any weight on it for like 3 weeks. Like any weight. It was really messed up. Yeah. I really hope that my future will be calmer and that I can just live my life without dealing with these major catastrophes almost every day. um, Sometimes I suspect that the difficulties in my life were there to help me learn how to love myself or appreciate the good things. Gosh, my back is just killing me. Oh my god, all the way into my tailbone. It's just awful. Whew. If you ever watch a near-death experience, oftentimes you'll hear them say, like, they were in a lot of pain, whatever caused them to die, and then all of a sudden they were in no pain. And they didn't know that they were dead until they were floating above the operating room and they could hear everything the doctors were saying as they were panicking and trying to wake the person back up. And then when they do come back, they'll tell the people, like, I saw you, I heard what you were saying, and they'll know that that's impossible because they watched them flatline and they were defibrillating and trying to get them back. What do you mean you heard everything we were saying? That's impossible. But they did, and they prove it. And this stuff is not rare even. I mean, I guess it's like rare in that you are probably not likely to experience it, and it's not likely that you'll know anybody who experiences it, but like in the world, there's a ton of near-death experiencers. And by and large, they have those similar themes. And there's even a lot of really strong evidence for reincarnation. There was a professor at Yale, I think, named Dr. Ian Stevenson, and he did reincarnation studies where he found many, many cases of toddlers talking about how and when and where they died. And when someone would go to check up on that, they would find out that that information was true. There really was such and such pilot at such and such battle who went down in such and such way, just as the 3-year-old child said. This kind of stuff happens, and even birthmarks have been shown to have a relationship with their reports of how they died. Like if they, I don't know, if they got shot right here, they'll have a big birthmark right there. And it sounds like crazy hippie magic, but this stuff was all studied and has been since, and the evidence is very solid. I used to be an atheist. I first heard of this from a Buddhist monk named Ajahn Brahm, and at that time I was an atheist who wanted to be a Buddhist. And he said, like, you don't have to believe in reincarnation, but look at Dr. Ian Stevenson. It's all there. It is real. But it's not necessary to believe. And yeah, I still felt like, okay, Ajahn Brahm, that's nice. I was skeptical. But I realized that skepticism that I held very strongly within me until about age 25 was, this isn't a bad thing, but it was really just me being afraid of looking a fool. Of having other people know that I believed something that turned out to be false. Um, who cares? I mean, everybody thinks that everybody's stupid. So who cares? Anyway, after a while, it just seemed like either all these people are finding profound coincidences that create this narrative that is actually just a major illusion, or all these many people experienced what they said they experienced. It's kind of how I feel about the non-human intelligence disclosure cover-up stuff. Like, I don't expect our government to tell us everything, but after a while I was like, what seems more likely? The fact that our government is telling us the truth, that there's nothing, or the fact that they're covering it all up and killing people. And after a while I was like, yeah, I think the evil government is covering this stuff up and killing people. I don't think that they're telling the truth and that all these people are insane. It really seems like the government is doing this nasty stuff. And if it pops up so often for so many decades from so many different sources, it would just be too ridiculous to think that that was all a lie or a fabrication or a misunderstanding. So, and I understand now that not everybody thinks the way I do. Usually what you hear is people defending the rationalist stance, which is fine, that until you have tangible evidence in front of your face that is undeniable, the idea that there's aliens and UFOs is irrational. Just flat out irrational until you see it or touch it or know it for yourself. Without a doubt, you're being irrational. Yeah, that's fine. If you're trained to be a scientist and whatever, like, that's, yeah, good for you. But I'm not a scientist, and I just let my intuition do the work. And if something seems plausible, I'll entertain it for a bit. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Talking to the camera really helps me take my mind off of my stomach. And it is an interesting phenomenon. What I have, they called it functional dyspepsia, and they explained it as me being too hyper aware of my sensations in my body, in my stomach, so that I am feeling all the normal stuff more intensely than I would otherwise. And so they wanted to put me on a type of antidepressant, an old-fashioned tricyclic antidepressant, to decrease my sensitivity. And that sounds nice, but like I've mentioned, I have 6 or 5 well, it's actually just 4 medications. And if you've ever taken psychiatric meds, you probably know how excruciatingly painful it can be mentally, emotionally, to have your body adjusting to that, either getting on it or off of it. So I just didn't want to do that to myself again. And was frustrated because I was like, no, something's really happening. It's not in my head. And yeah, I mean, I throw up. I have diarrhea. How could that just be in my head? But it is true. I'm like constantly thinking about what's going to happen, and I don't want it to. And even if I'm trying to calm myself down, I'm usually in a state of resistance to my immediate future, and that makes my stomach feel bad. But the thing where I can't sleep lying down, I don't know. It's just mind blowing to me that this could be because I'm too sensitive. Like, I believe you because like right now I can feel the sensations of my stomach just like moving the apple around, and it doesn't feel great, but maybe I could, if I someday have some extra money, I could get some hypnotism and have a hypnotist convince me deep in my psyche that I don't feel my stomach anymore like this. I swear to you, I know someone who actually successfully was treated by psychotherapy. My grandma, before I was born, used to be a chain smoker, just all day long. Finish a pack, start a new pack. And she wanted to quit smoking, but she didn't want to be the kind of person who like hated the smell when she quit and like couldn't be around it. So she went to a hypnotist and she asked them to do that. Help me quit smoking, but make it so that I don't care about the smell. And it worked. That was like 40 years ago or something, and she's never smoked again. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess that's a goal for me. I don't usually have, I never have goals to buy expensive things. Since I've been working, it just hasn't made sense. It's been so difficult to just earn my keep that I don't try to buy nice things. I just, the things that happen into my life, they happened into my life. I didn't necessarily go after them. And that's just because of my income that I've been able to achieve so far, but who knows? Maybe someday I'll make enough money that I can have goals like that to buy myself a hypnotherapy session or two. Anyway, it's about 6:20. I'm gonna just keep eating my apple and hope that I'd have gotten through the worst of my stomach stuff today. And then I'm gonna be looking for work and housing. Oof. Okay.